A small little device can save a life and bring everybody back home. We're talking about microchipping. And this morning, we are joined by veterinarian Dr. Crystal Knight here to kind of talk a little bit about microchipping. Sure. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. All right, so 25 years in the business. Talk a little bit about the importance of microchipping. I mean, how often do you microchip animals?
So working through rescues and shelters, we try to microchip everybody that's going to come in as well as leave, because a lot of those patients are the ones that have already been lost. And if they're going to be adopted out, we want to be able to bring them back to us if they are, for some reason, escape artists or things like that. In practice, I've had microchips that we do generally when we are spaying and neutering pets. And try to offer that to our clinic, our patients all the time.
Is that something that you do all the time? So is it like when you do spay and neuter, you also do microchipping? And is that something that pet owners should make sure it all happens in one time?
Right. It's usually easier. Owners feel better about the fact that their patient is receiving a microchip when they're asleep, so it's not quite as scary. But most pets actually tolerate the procedure very well. It's just basically a needle. This is actually an example of it. A needle attached to a little syringe, and the microchip is about the size of a grain of rice. And so most tolerate it very well and don't really complain too much when we give it. So
does it hurt them? Or I mean, it seems really quick. It was just like that. I mean, we literally just saw, we have video of it. So what kind of happens in that procedure? Like I said, in less than a minute.
It's really just an injection. And so you're using the needle to kind of insert up underneath the skin, push the plunger in, and it pushes the device in there. And then once it's there, it actually has some material around it to keep it from moving around so it stays in one spot. That's the goal, and that's where we commonly inject them, is between the shoulder blades of the animals. So we all have a universal area where we're going to look for them if we do find a pet.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask you next. So when you come back, if an animal does come in, the first thing that people are checking for microchips, there's a specific area?
Right. We do check that area first. Since there are sometimes microchips that will wander a little bit, we do scan the majority of the animal where we hopefully we'll find one. But if there's not one there, then we really have zero chance of trying to find an owner, whereas I have had pets throughout years come in and we don't know who it is, and they have a microchip, and we can identify them and return them to the owner. The other key part of this, and we do this here as well as a lot of clinics will do this automatically, is registering the microchip, because if it has a microchip in it and there's no client name or address or phone number to go along with that microchip, kind of like wearing a piece of jewelry. Nobody knows what it belongs to if it gets lost, if there's no name attached to it. So that's the other important part of it.
Okay, so it's more than just getting the injection and kind of walking out the door. You want to make sure that your name is attached to it as well.
Right. And a lot of clinics will do that automatically with the paperwork, but if not, that is something that you can do online, and it puts them in kind of a universal database that they can look up numbers. We can contact the microchip company that made the microchip, and they can determine what clinic injected it, as well as if the registration is complete, then they can contact you. And it's another important thing to update your information whenever you're moving. So that's also important. Because a lot of times that's when animals go missing, is when they're in strange environments.
See, and that's what we were just talking about, of course, with 4th of July, and a lot of people with cookouts, they might be going to the cookout, and which you should not be doing. We've already talked about that. But, you know, if they do get lost, microchipping is great. Really quickly, Dr. Knight, talk about the importance. Maybe somebody just got a pet for their birthday or for the holidays. How important is it so they get microchipped?
I think it's very important. I really think it's one of the top ways that we can reunite owners with their pets when they do escape. Fireworks scare animals, thunderstorms scare animals, and they run off without any warning. I've had patients that have escaped yards. I've had patients that have broken windows to escape.
They are escape artists.
They're also terrified sometimes with fireworks and things. So microchipping is really the key way that we can reunite pets with the owners.
And we just saw it on camera. It was such an invasive thing. It was so easy. It was just such an easy thing that you do. She's also the expert, 25 years in the business, so you know what you were doing. So on in there. Dr. Knight, thank you so much.
Thank you for
We appreciate it. Of course. Alrighty, a lot of good tips out there for our pet lovers, but don't worry, we're going to be putting all this on our website, WLTX.com.